Hello everybody! Welcome to this Dancing Fursuit 101 panel from Infurnity 2021. My name is Wolvinny. I am a furry from the Netherlands and I've been dancing in fursuit, so that's why I am giving this panel to you watchers of this stream. This is pre-recorded because we have time zones. It's dark here, as you can see, but I'm still very delighted to tell you about dancing in fursuit. I've been dancing in videos, for example music videos, and I've been dancing on stages such as Eurovision in Europe. I have two fursuits you may know me from. I have Coco and I have Jill. They're my two lovely ladies and they're both very different, so that also helps me explain in how to dance in fursuit. I have to say I call myself a dancer fur because I dance in fursuit. I'm very shy about dancing without a fursuit, so that's okay because the fursuit, as you may know, gives you a lot of strength and power and confidence. Even you, if you want to stroll down the street in fursuit because you're in a parade or another fun event, you're gonna do more silly stuff and dare to do more because you're wearing a fursuit. And that's also the same maybe for dancing. So maybe you're shy dancing in real life, but the fursuit gives you the power to try to dance in front of a stage or in front of a camera. And that's totally fine. I did it too. It works for me as well. But there's some stuff you need to think about if you dance in fursuit. I'm gonna split this panel into 3 parts. Number 1 is how did I learn to dance? And how can you maybe learn to dance? Second part is how to dance in fursuit. What's the stuff you have to think about? What's the stuff you have to be careful about? How do you practice dancing in fursuit? And maybe perform it on the stage. Then part 3 is about a choreography. How can you make dance moves plannable on music? And how can you learn a choreography or come up with a choreography? I'm gonna tell you how I did it. So how did I learn to dance? Well, I learned a lot from a video game. You can learn a lot of stuff from video games, can't you? And the video game was called Just Dance. There's been several games already. Every year they come up with a new game and they make fun dances on popular music from American to Asian to European music. And they make fun dances, they explain the dances, they have professional dancers showing how to do it. It's usually a game where you have to have a remote or a camera where it follows your movements and you're getting a score in how you move the remote or how you are on camera. But usually I didn't buy the game. What I did is I went to YouTube. You can just go to YouTube, type in Just Dance, and here you can see lots of videos, lots of great dances you can learn by just clicking on it and follow the moves. That's how I did a lot of my learning, because I did try to go to a dancing school, but I was a little bit shy still. I also had a little bit of a problem with the difference between age and skill, because I found myself a beginner dancer, so I wanted to go to beginner's class. But then it was a kids class and people were very young, so I was very old and that didn't fit me. Then I went to a class that fit my age and I was around 24, 25. But there were people who already been dancing for tens of years and they were doing so much better than me. So that wasn't a perfect fit as well. There are solutions, for example, that you can take online dancing classes. I tried some of those as well. They can work. There you can just take a lesson that they also pre-recorded, just like I did, and they can teach you a move or teach you a dance, and it's usually like a subscription where you can pay an amount per month and you have access to all their videos. What I also did was, if I found out that there was a move that I wanted to learn, for example, shuffle dance, then I can just go to YouTube, type in shuffle dance, and there's a lot of brilliant people who can do the move, made an excellent video about it, and they set it on YouTube and I can learn from it. So you can also find a lot of great stuff on YouTube. My experience at the dance school may not be the same for you. So if you really want to learn in a bigger group from a normal human being without the television screen in front of your face, go look up dance schools and talk with the owner. See if there's a dance class matching your style or matching your wishes on the age or skill difference. And perhaps a dance school may be the best thing for you. But my tips are for people who are a little bit more, well, at home and want to do this as a hobby. And dancing schools can be very, very useful if you really are over your beginner stage. If you feel like, okay, I've learned enough from YouTube and I want to go bigger. That's where you maybe find better results at the dance school instead of just going to YouTube. Going back to Just Dance. Just Dance has easy dances and moves and has difficult dances and moves. So don't get discouraged if you tried the first one and you feel like this is too much. So you can find easy ones and difficult ones. They're very repetitive moves. So they're 4 or 8 count, and then 30 seconds later in the song you're gonna do the same moves again. That's very handy for you to get to know the move. You don't have anything difficult to learn in like a lot of different moves. It's very repetitive. There's like a little dancing puppet showing you what to do, and the dancers also can show you what to do. What's also very handy about using YouTube is that you can just press the pause button and see what they're actually doing. Then you can also slow it down on YouTube to see really what they're doing, but then in motion. And you can also put little bits of YouTube videos on repeat. Just Google search how you can repeat YouTube videos and then parts of it, so you can repeat moves if you want to keep going at them and trying to get them under your control. If you see a move on a video like Just Dance or a tutorial, you need to deconstruct the move. First off, for example, you're going to start with the arms. What are they doing with their arms? Then you're going to go into what are they doing with their legs. Are they going to take a step, or is there balance on the left feet or right feet? And then later on you can look into the details. So she's doing a very difficult move here. So I can put it on 50% to actually see what she's doing. Okay, now look what she did. She put her right leg behind her in a step. There. So I'm going to remember right leg back step. And I do it. Then I'm going to look on what other elements are moving, and that's the arm. The left arm is going to point into the other direction. So I combine right leg with left arm point. And then I'm going to combine those two. So right leg, left hand point. What's she doing next? She steps back. See? But then she switches. Now it's the left leg to the back, right arm pointing in the other direction. So just don't try to copy it. Try to see what they're doing, which left or right leg is moving, which left or right arm is moving, and try to combine it. First try maybe the arms. For example, try the pointing first and then add the moving of the legs. I said this before, don't give up on the first try. Dancing can be very repetitive and has to be done lots of times before you're really getting it under control. It's just like drawing. The first time you're gonna draw a dog is not as good as the 10th time you're gonna draw a dog. So, you've been dancing on Just Dance videos and you've been turning it up in your dancing studio at home, but then there's the next challenge. If you can repeat or dance the dance without the referencing video in front of your face. That's gonna be the next challenge. Can you turn away your screen, just play the song and dance it from the top of your head? There are lots of ways how to remember a move. One of them is muscle memory. That's that you did it so much that your muscles literally remember how to do that move. That's called muscle memory. It's very useful, but if you're under a stressed situation, maybe at a dancing competition, it can be not perfect to trust on your muscle memory, because you also want to have it in your brain, because when you're stressed and maybe if you mess up a little thing, then you want to get back into it as quickly as possible. So don't just trust on muscle memory. Try to find a method for you to remember the moves, maybe give them a little nickname, or picture the puppet from the videos from Just Dance into your head, and maybe you can find a way to remember the dance moves and get them into your head, and then you can turn away from the video, play the music and dance your heart out. Then later on, if you know the basic moves of the dance and you also remember the dance, then I would look into the details. Details for me are stuff like the head movement or the emotions in your face if you're not wearing a fursuit, and the hands, and maybe the feet, maybe the butt. That you can do also later. First focus on the arms and the legs, the basic stuff, and then focus onto the details like your head, hands and feet. If you really want to see results, or really want to see how it's going, then you should do what I did with all the videos I've been showing. Grab a little camera and film yourself doing the dance move. You can do it on the first day and then on the 10th day of practicing, and then you'll really see process. And that's really fun, of course, to see process. So you don't have to do it for everything, of course, but for example, if you really want to make a choreography, then it's really smart to give yourself something to look at later on to see how it looks and if you like it or not. All the stuff I've just talked about with learning to dance, I was talking about without fursuit, of course, because that's what I'm going to talk about now. Fursuit dancing is very fun. It's very hot, of course. Of course, you're going to be more sweaty and hot in a fursuit. You're going to have blurred vision. You're going to have extra parts around you that can get in your way. So I'm going to destruct a little bit of the fursuit, and I'm going to tell you what to look out for and what you should consider while dancing in fursuit. So, fursuit feet. These are very big, so they're a perfect example. If you're gonna wear fursuit feet, you're gonna have more area around your usual foot to step around in. So if you also have already two feet paws next to each other, you can't go as close as you would normally would go. And if you want to, for example, step over the foot of another, then you're also gonna have more area to cover. And yeah, it can get into the way. Yes, it can. Also, at the bottom, you usually have a material, but that can be a slippery material. So watch out if you have slippery feet, because now you have a bigger area of slippery feet. I had extra stuff added, so I have a little bit more grip onto slippery floors. It's not perfect, but it's way better than falling on your butt. Of course, it also adds weight, because if you want to do something with lifting your legs, you're gonna have to carry that weight with you. And also, it happens sometimes that the fursuit feet were not properly attached to you, and that the fursuit feet could fly off during the performance. So make sure that somewhere in there your feet are properly stuck in there, and that if you're gonna do crazy stuff with your feet, that they're not gonna fly off. There he goes. Bye. Then we have fursuit hand paws. Also very nice and big ones. They can be very useful for emotions and exaggeration into your moves. But again, it's adding area around the normal area where you usually live, and it can be wet and slippery also on the floor if you have to get your grip, because there's not a lot of grip here. You have to sometimes talk to maybe your fursuit maker to see if there are solutions for hand paws and feet paws to get them less slippery if you really want to not slide over a floor. So, a fursuit tail. I'm not going to put it on my butt, but like I said with also the feet paws, is that it adds weight. It adds weight on an area where you don't usually have something. So if you have a very big tail, you have to maybe watch out a little bit if you make big turns, that the tail is not going to drag you out of your balance and make you fall. Also, sometimes the tail is already attached to the bodysuit directly by sewing, and that's going to also be very riskful for your bodysuit and the tail, that it can maybe, under a lot of stress, eventually rip off. So I would recommend, if you can, have a belt loop for your fursuit tail, that you don't attach your tail to the bodysuit, but attach your tail to a belt that's just stuck on your body. So if you have a lot of weight coming from the tail, it's not gonna rip off from your bodysuit, but it's just on the belt, and that usually holds. When you're practicing your new dance or practicing your new moves, you can always, if you want to know if it's gonna work with your tail, just wear it during the practice. So, fursuit heads. This is Jill. Jill is my resin-based fursuit head. And with resin, I'm already a little bit scared because it's a resin base, it's hard. And if you break this, you have a problem. It can be very delicate. Also with like bumping the nose or scratching the nose, or maybe with the ears. It's all very delicate. So if you want to dance safely, for example, you really have to watch out when you roll around on a floor, because normally you don't have this extra long snout on your face. So if you roll, you may be very, very close to the floor, and maybe you can hit your nose there. That's not something that you would like. Also with the ears, maybe those, if you lie down on the floor, we have our ears here, but now they're over there. See? That's also stuff that you can break. So just be very mindful about moves that you can do on the floor if you have a fursuit head, which is a resin base. Also with moves where you, for example, put up your arm, you now have an extra nose, and that nose can go bump into your arm. A very good demonstration over there. So again, you have a little bit extra here. So if you have a move where you really are tied to your arm, that's going to be a little bit of a problem because of your extra long nose. Just consider creating your dance move that you're not going to bump there. Just make it a little more this way, so you're not going to have a problem there. Also, with a fursuit head, you have blurred vision because you have something in front of your eyes. Normally, if you would practice at your home, it's daytime, it's light, you have your lights on, then you would see pretty much still. But usually when you're on a dance floor, it's gonna be dark. So then it's gonna be more tricky to keep your balance, because your eyes do need something to focus on, and they can't focus or keep balance in the dark. So you can't really change the eyes, but you can, for example, see if there's gonna be lights on the dance floor, or ask to turn the lights on. Practice maybe in the dark to see if there's gonna be a restriction for you because of the eyes, and giving it you a blurred vision. Or one of the tips I can give you for not losing your balance while in fursuit with blurred vision on the dark area is try to find a fixing point, for example the judges table or a light in over there in the crowd, and try to focus on that if you do something like a turn. Then I have another one. This is Coco. Coco is foam based, so she's not as delicate as the resin base. Of course, there's still stuff that's gonna be a little bit delicate, but she can take it more if you're gonna lie down on the floor. She can take it. But now she's even bigger. So if I have her on my head and I want to do stuff with bumping into my arms, then it's gonna bump into my arm. They can take just a little bit more by spushing. I made a new word, spushing. No, pushing and squeezing. They can take it. So they're a little bit better for the dancing. But again, still, of course, blurred vision. And of course, there are going to be ears in the way of your performance. But you have to adapt your dance moves to your fursuit. If you're doing the part 1, learning to dance, and you have a dance that you like and want to perform one day on fursuit, just try it for the first time with just your feet paws. See if there's going to be any trouble if you're going to do the dance that you like just as a human, but then with the feet paws of your fursuit. Then you can add the tail to see if the weight on your belt from your pants is going to be tugging you around on the dance floor and giving you some trouble. Also, even if you're gonna roll around on the floor, what's the tail gonna do? Is it going to be between your legs, or is it just going to be underneath your butt or your back? Try it out, put on the tail and see what it does during your dance move. And then you can slowly upgrade to full bodysuit fursuit dancing. Like I said, with dancing that you can record yourself to see how it looks as a human, you should also record to see how it looks in fursuit. Because maybe some moves look very good and cool without fursuit. It doesn't always mean it looks very good and cool in fursuit. Maybe it doesn't translate as well. Maybe you have to add a little bit to the move maybe, or try to find another move in there. You can divide fursuiting in 3 divisions or types. You have partial fursuiting, you have plantigrade fursuiting or digigrade fursuiting, and lots of little categories in between. If you're dancing in partial, you're usually wearing the fursuit head, hand, feet and tail, and not the bodysuit. So you can have a nice outfit over your partial and you don't have a hot sweaty bodysuit. This can be very nice. Plantigrade fursuit is that you are head to toe covered in fursuit. And then of course you have digigrade fursuit where you have more padding around your hip or legs or butt, you never know. Dancing in digigrade fursuit is the hardest because you have a lot of filling, you have a lot of fur, you have a lot of abstractions on your body. Of course, plantigrade is going to be a little bit easier, and then the easiest one is just to go in partial. Do mind sometimes at dancing competitions, when they write down the scores, they do keep in mind which type of bodysuit or fursuit you had. So if you did like a digigrade fursuit with a lot of difficult moves, then you're gonna get a little bit of extra plus on your scoreboard. When you're gonna have a plantigrade or digigrade fursuit, and you're gonna have to make a bodysuit and a duct tape dummy, you should really make a great duct tape dummy, because what I've seen lots of times is that people made a duct tape dummy where they didn't keep their arms high enough, and now they can't move their arms high in their bodysuit. If you make a duct tape dummy or custom made bodysuit, keep your arms really high when you make the designs or make the duct tape dummy, because at the end you're gonna have a lot more movability in your bodysuit. Sometimes there's even like stitching techniques that make sure the furs are more flexible. So in areas like the armpits or the leg area, they can maybe adapt special techniques, the fursuit makers, to make sure your body in the bodysuit of your fursuit can move exactly how you want it to do. But again, you have to ask your fursuit maker. When you do have a digigrade fursuit, you have a lot of filling around there. If you're gonna move around a lot, the filling needs to stay at their place. Lots of techniques you can put there. I'm not sure if you're gonna need it because, for example, Coco has like big cushions they stay pretty good in place without adding a lot of extra. I only have like a belt to keep it up my body, that it's not going down towards my feet. And the polyfill can be very handy if you have some on your butt, so you don't, if you fall on your butt, it's gonna be less painful. That's very useful. But if you have polyfill or filling around your legs, the same with like what I showed with the feet paws, is that if you want to cross over your legs, cross over your feet, it's gonna take more area to cross to get to the other side of the leg. So it is more difficult. Also, if you have a dropped crotch, then there's gonna be an extra challenge because you moved the butt of your fursuit a little bit more down than your actual butt. So if you're gonna shake your butt in fursuit, then it's not shaking the actual fursuit butt. Very complicated, I know. So then you have to adapt your dancing to the bodysuit with a dropped crotch. For example, I learned that if I want to shake Coco's butt, I actually have to shake my knees. So if I shake my knees, the butt from Coco goes back and forth, and that's how I make a funny dance move. If I'm gonna shake my butt in Coco, my own butt, then it's not gonna show. So I don't never do that move there. I talked about how fursuit can obstruct your dancing, but you can also use it. For example, Coco has a big butt, so I'm absolutely going to do moves about dancing with my butt. I'm gonna shake the butt. Maybe I'm gonna even pick a song about butts, because that's her trademark. Maybe your character is very angry and has very big hand paws and nails. Then you're gonna choose a spooky song, and then you're gonna show your angry nails and your gnawing face. That's all fun stuff that the fursuit really adds to you, which can inspire you for a dance act or movement and gonna make your performance very unique. So, if you really want to try to join a dance competition or want to make a dance for a music video, then you need to make a choreography. Choreography can be very fun to make. It can also be difficult to make, but I'm gonna talk to you about some tips and tricks on how I do it. Also remember, you don't have to do choreography on the full dance. You don't have to. Maybe you can find some parts where you can freestyle, or maybe you're the total freestyle dancer and you just want to have choreography just little bits and the rest freestyle. That's also possible. Usually I like to freestyle when there's an in-between moment during the dance where I'm working towards a finale, because then I can dance a little bit slower maybe to catch a little bit of my breath and a little bit of my energy and worked more towards the big ending of my dance. Also, maybe it's mentioned in the song that it's about freestyling. Then you have to freestyle, of course. Then you're not gonna do a movement that you made up already. Of course, you're gonna start with a song. So what song are you going to dance to? Just like I said, you can maybe take some inspiration from your fursuit. What would your character dance on? Would it be a happy peppy song, or would it be a very sexy song showing off their butt? If you have a very happy fursuit with a big smile always on their face, it's gonna be very weird if you're gonna dance on a song which is very depressing and love heartbroken. Try to find something that matches your fursuit character. And of course, you really have to like the song. Do you like it as a person? Is it trending right now over the world, or is it something really that inspires you? That could all be reasons to pick a song, but I think it's best if it really inspires you or already makes you shake your body if you hear it on the radio just at the bus stop. You can also, of course, mix two songs together if you can't choose between two. Usually I mix two songs together who already match together because they're the same singer or because they're the same category. And then you can also show a little bit more versatility in your dancing because you did one thing and then another thing. If you really like a song, then you can look up what's the song about and what they are singing about. Because sometimes their lyrics are very inspirational for a dance move. For example, if they're saying like clap your hands, then you can add a move which is about clapping your hands. Easy peasy, right? I also like to look at the music video from the original artist. What's the story they are telling in their music video, or in their dancing, or in their song words. You can all grab those little bits of what the artist already made up and try to tell the story and add it to your story. What I also like to do is play the song and just dance. Just no fursuit, no choreography, just see what I come up with. And sometimes I record it, or sometimes I found something I really liked. Then I ran into my little book and wrote down what I did. Because freestyling can also be an inspirational way to come up with a dance move, because you made it up on your own, or you did it on the song that you want to make a dance for. Beside the original artist, there are gonna also be covers, maybe also dance covers from that artist, like other dancing experts did come up with their own dance moves on the song. You can look at those, you can take inspiration from those, but don't copy an entire dance from the internet. It's just like stealing art. You don't do it. You can maybe grab some references from it or inspiration from it, but don't grab the entire dance from start to finish. Of course, it's not going to be copyright if they sing and clap your hands and you're also going to clap your hands. That's going to be very obviously. I do consider copying from the original dance video from the original artist less bad, I consider, because then you really are showing to the audience or the judges or the watchers or anything that you're taking inspiration from the original artist and are telling their story again, but then through a fursuit. I did that, for example, with Lady Gaga, that I just took a few little parts from her original dance video and copied it in fursuit. It's also going to be very nice for recognition into the story by the audience or viewers that are watching you dance. They can be like, oh wait, she did do her research, she did watch the original artist and made a little transition from her story back to my story. And if you're gonna copy a little bit dance stuff from the internet, try to make it your own. Add something different to it, because you're already wearing a fursuit, that's very different, but it's maybe like using your hand paws very interesting, or opening your fursuit mouth if that's possible interesting. Try to make it your own and don't copy everything from the internet. If you really have your song ready and are ready to write down your dance moves, then you have to do some planning. So you can grab a little book and write down what you're gonna do. You can divide a dance into parts. Maybe because you also remix two songs together, but also because a song usually has a beginning, it has a chorus, it has an ending, and you also want to add levels to the dance. So you have to end big or fun, and you're gonna introduce the song and dance, and then have a top there, then you're gonna have a little break, and then you're gonna end big again. That's those sections you can put your dance in. If you divide the dance in parts, you're gonna also write down your energy level, like is this something where I have to give all I got, or just take it a little bit slow again to make people more interested into the next part. You can write down what's the story gonna be there. For example, if you're gonna start the dance, what's the introduction? For example, I did with Coco that she woke up out of bed because she overslept. Planning is not something you have to necessarily do. It's something that worked for me if I did very complicated dances, but it's not necessary. But planning also means that you want to have an introduction to the song. Somewhere in the middle or towards the end you want to have a little bit of a break where you take a little bit slower, and you want to end big and end very phenomenal on your dancing. If you want to remember a dance, if you're gonna write your moves down one after the other, you can maybe try to give your moves funny names, or make a little doodle about what your arms are doing, for example. And then you can have at the end an entire script on what you're gonna do. Everything goes into 8 counts, and you can also write down, for example, what the singer of the song is singing, or what the music is doing. Is it like a beat, or is it like a drop in the music? It's all very how you want to. There's not going to be a perfect example on how to write your dancing into a little booklet. But yeah, for example, the doodling part for me was very handful if I wanted to learn some complicated arm moves. Then the difficult part is really getting it into your body and into your head, and that's about repeating. I'm not saying it way enough. It's okay to take a lot of repeating to get a move under control. Then you're gonna repeat the moves over and over again to get it prettier, and then add more details or be very quick about it and remember what the next 8 count was. It's really okay to just learn a dance bit in 8 count, and then another one in 8 count, and then try to find in between how you're gonna get from the end to the beginning of those 8 counts. If you want to see how it looks, you can of course go and stand in front of a mirror. You can record yourself with a camera and then watch it back and see how it goes. Of course, first without fursuit and then adding the fursuit. And when you're adding the fursuit, you're gonna see or notice stuff that you can't do because of limitations of your bodysuit or fursuit head or feet paws. And then you have to adapt the moves to having to wear a fursuit. When you're in fursuit, you're probably, if you're more of an acting fursuiter, exaggerating your moves, like being funny or being silly. That's also something you can adapt to your dancing. So if you want to tell the story through dancing and the song is very happy peppy, be very happy peppy but over exaggerated. So if you have a move that's just about moving your arms like this, you can do it like this, but you can also do it like this, and that's really gonna show more energy and more skill. I would first design the dance without really considering the fursuit all the time. You don't really have to be careful and think only I have to stand on my 2 feet and just move my left and right, or for example. It's okay to already think bigger and then just try it out in your safe area with your fursuit parts one at a time to see if it works, and record it and see if it works, and then you can decide if you want to change the move because it's dangerous or it doesn't look very well, and just comes up with something new in that little bit. If you really have filmed it in parts or even already in the entire song, you can also show it to your friends and see if they liked it or they have feedback for you. It's okay to ask feedback, and people can say like, well, your dancing is nice, but I'm not sure what you're telling me. That can happen. You can dance very nicely, but if there's no storytelling, then maybe people can be confused on why did you pick that song. So you can also show it to your friends just for feedback on that. And you can of course show it to your fursuit dancing friends to see if they have feedback on how you did the dance, on technical skills. And once you learn the entire dancing in your head and in your muscle memory, and when it's entirely adapted to your fursuit, wearing it on your body and showing off the great skills you can have as a fursuiter, and if you're gonna record it or put it on YouTube, on Twitter, or if you're gonna perform it on a live stage in front of an audience, well done! You're already a winner for doing it, because like I said before, dancing can be very scared. I'm not doing it without a fursuit, but that I'm doing it fursuit is really a victory for me. And it also is a victory to you. Dancing is a very vulnerable way of showing your emotions and expressions. So don't just do it for the win, or don't just do it for the like numbers. Dancing is really about expressing yourself and feeling happy about yourself and being happy with the product that you're giving to your audience and to yourself. And after you've done it for the first time in front of the audience and they're clapping for you, you deserve it because you did so much work. You even watched in this entire video for almost an hour to just learn how to do all this. That's excellent work from you. I really like that you watch my of course. Now it's time for me to answer some questions that you already sent in through the social medias of Infurnity, and I'm going to answer them for you. Let's see what the questions are. Ben Collie asks, is it fine to learn the dance with the same move style from someone video or need adding change some of it? There are many dance moves that require that you do the exact moves from the original artist. The biggest example is the moonwalk from Michael Jackson. You have seen that move in lots of dances, videos and movies, but because everyone is different or learn different, the moonwalk almost never looks the same between dancers. It turns into a move specific for you when you specialize in technique, smoothness and agility. It's okay to learn known dance moves. You can make them your own later by specializing. When we are talking about a whole dance sequence, you can take inspiration or a specific move from another dancer, but don't copy a sequence of dance moves. That I would consider copywriting too much. Raven Nope asks, how much more difficult is it to dance in digigrade versus plantigrade? When I think of digigrade fursuit, I think of the pads you have on the front of your upper leg and the pads around your calves and heels. That can be very slim, light or not very disturbing, but it can also be big and also include butt padding. As I explained before, it's much harder to dance in digigrade because especially your legs have to cross more area if you cross your legs or feet. Also because normal dance moves as human can perhaps not work because of your changed body proportions. Also, digigrade padding adds weight if you are really doing acrobatic stuff. Some dance competitions will take that into account if they score a dancer. Usually that means less points if you have a plantigrade suit, a partial or even normal shoes instead of feet paws. Mickey asks, how to create your own dance step or move? Try freestyling on your own and see what happens. When you find something fun, repeat it, try it, or have a book near you, or camera rolling to capture the move before you forget. Dancing is also a world where a lot of moves has already been made up, so don't feel like you need to be unique in every move. It's also okay to check out the moves from other dancers or take inspiration and make them your own. Try combining a known arm move with a known leg move. Perhaps they never been combined before. Also, as you may have learned from TikTok, already the easiest move can tell a story and become something usable. The next question is, do you have any fursuit dancer that you love? One of my favorite dancers is a friend from the Netherlands called Panriel. Panriel is a very technical dancer. Really shows that you can learn from dancing lessons and other disciplines of body training like fighting sports. He has the hard job to take a whole lot of fursuit with him in his moves, his giant otter tail, his TG padded legs and butt, but he makes such much effort in it and it does show in his performance. Noodles is also a furry from the Netherlands who shows that even if you dance, you can make it fun and how to make it a show. Here's my favorite dance on him on gaming music. Strobes is American and is one of the best fursuit dancers because he has amazing technique and body control. He is for me, by far, the best fursuit dancer. An icon and an example on how training will get you far. Kiyoshi is great because they make a great combination of two worlds. He knows how to bring strong breakdance moves together with sex appeal and smoothness. There are many fursuit dancers I love, but these are my top picks for today. Next question. What's your favorite dancing style? I love street dance, house and hip hop. When I took dance lessons, I would always choose these styles. These are the dance styles you would normally see in a lot of video clips, so you know what I'm talking about. If I could pick one as a dream dancing style, that would be Vogue or dancing on heels. But these two categories are for now out of my reach. Miu asks, have you won any dance competition, and what's the tips to win the first 3 places? Well, when I first danced in a dance competition, I wanted to win. I didn't, and I was disappointed at myself. The second year I tried out and did a dance which was very difficult. I didn't win and was frustrated. The third time I didn't raise any expectations of winning and just made a fun, silly dance.
And number 1, the winner of Enter the Arena 2016, Coco the Corgi!
So, dance for having fun and gaining more experience and love for yourself, not for the win. That's how I got the win. Later, I did win a second trophy for second place with Jill dancing on a Lady Gaga routine. After that, I decided that I didn't want to stress about trophies or points, so I decided to create dances with a duo partner, which are not a type of dance that count for a prize. I did them for fun only and created an intermezzo for the dance show so that they could get ready for the finale of the dance competition. I love this because I got challenge, because I have to dance with someone else, but no stress about a prize. The next question is, how long did you take to actually do your own performance on stage? How much time do you usually spend on dancing every day? I tried dancing every day, sometimes as a challenge, but real life got in the way. I have annoying back pains and unfortunately I can't dance much because of the pains. But when I do prepare for a stage performance or music video, I can start months up ahead, create little bits over the months, and then weeks and days before really doing the show, maybe once per day to really learn the muscle memory of the dance. When you start dancing lessons, the teacher will set a phase on how much of the dance you will learn in the class of that week. The next week, you'll repeat the things you've learned the week before and add new stuff again. Then maybe a few months later, you got a whole dance under your control. This is a good example on how to learn an entire dance. Repeat what you already learned and add a little bit new again. Louise Wolf asks, what material do you usually see to use for fursuit dancing feet? Or could you recommend all kinds of materials that is good for dancing? You can best ask your fursuit maker if they have experience with their feet being slippery and what solutions they offer. If you make them yourself, you could look up car floor mats with rubber and like anti-slip backing. That's what I use. Make sure they are not one big surface. Make them round like maybe paw pads, and make sure to add one to your heel and toe area. What kind of dancing moves that you think is the hardest one to learn? I am not a very flexible person, and I also am not good with learning turning my body upside down in the air. I tried several air jumps and I couldn't get it because I don't have the right teacher. I think if you have a dancing teacher, a lot can be overcome. But yeah, I think the moves where you really have to lift up and keep balance in the air while being in fursuit is very tough because of everything that's on you. The fur, the padding, feet paws, hand paws, the fursuit head with your immobilized vision. They are all going to be making it you very hard to land safely again after a dangerous jump. JC asks, do you design different dancing styles for Coco and Jill? Since they are very different fursuits, how do you design or pick dancing moves for them? Since Coco has a big padding around my butt, legs and knees, I had to design a different dance style for her than my human self dance. I have to take a wide stance and move a lot with my knees, arms and head, so popping was a good thing for Coco. While in Jill, I like to show more of my real body and express emotions through my moving jaw by singing along. You should definitely use the strengths and highlights of your fursuit. For example, if you have an interesting tail, move it around, like this fursuit here called Sapphire. Or maybe big claws, or butt, or ears. Every suit has something special which you can incorporate in your dancing. Automatically, by dancing and experimenting, you develop a style, almost like if you're wearing a dress versus a hip-hop pants. You will feel and adapt. In a dress, you dance pretty and light. In a hip-hop pants, you dance tough and low to the ground. That's how a fursuit also influences you, just like a piece of cloth. Sylvan asks, when learning a new dance move or step, which way is best? You should deconstruct the move in smaller parts. You can choose to start with the arms or legs. Those are probably the biggest moves you have to make. See what the arm or leg is doing and try to repeat it. And repeat and repeat and repeat. Give that move a name, like step leg front or swing arm left. Then at the other limb, repeat and give it a name and try to combine the arm and leg together. Later you can focus on details such as the feet, hands, head or emotions in the face. These will make the move more prettier later on. And as said before and lots of times, it's okay to repeat a move lots of times to get it under control. Sapphire asks, for partial fursuit dancing, have you got any tips to keep your fursuit pieces on the right parts of your body so they don't start drifting or slipping? Because I was afraid my padding would slip, I added safety pins, but only the one with a double security because you don't want them to get free and sting you. So besides the maybe obvious buttons or Velcro, safety pins with double security. The next question is, some of my friends gave up for fursuit dancing. What would you say to them to encourage them back to dance again? I think what upsets the most dancers is seeing someone better as you. The thing is, there's always going to be someone better. So you should stop comparing to other dancers and try to find your own path and first your joy back. For me also, when I was really stuck, I just tried dancing one of my older pieces to remember the joy I had then. and I made a choreography that I didn't take into account that I wanted to win a prize. I wanted to have fun. Take a step back to those easy dance moves that are on Just Dance or TikTok and try to dance with maybe another person next to you and just enjoy the time being together. Vincent asks, how to choose dance music? Is there any music recommendation for beginners? First, check your own music library and see what makes you happy or inspires you. But a slow song doesn't always mean it's easier. Look for songs with a 4 beats per bar and around 100 to 140 beats per minute. If you are unsure if the tempo of the songs you are looking at are the right beat, just type the song into Google with BPM and it will tell you. For example, Google search Treasure Bruno Mars BPM. Since we were looking between 100 and 140, 116 should be totally fine for a beginner's dance. Which one of your performances that you love the most? Ah, that's a cute question! Just as we usually don't like the sound of our own voice, I don't always appreciate watching myself back. Because of course I recognize what I thought could have been better, but if I needed to choose, I am proud of the freestyling I did with Jill for the video Monody. It was very tough terrain. I wore outfits over my full body fursuit. I had to climb mountains to get to the prettiest sights, and being able to dance there and be happy with what I did there still makes me proud to this day. Sometimes I even think that's me. GC asks, how to remember all the dance steps besides practicing? Any tips? You can remember dance steps by giving them a simple, maybe silly name, like kick, jump, throw, spread a sandwich. You can draw them step by step in a book and copy the moves one by one. This one in particular is very handy for arms and popping moves. You can give it the same name as the word in the lyrics as a hint. Words like clap, kick, or down to the floor. And in a sequence, remember by what comes before. You'll connect the moves to each other, and by the order of the moves you will remember. Like after clap comes spread the sandwich, for example. Autumn asks, just how tiring is dancing in a fursuit? Even regular dancing is exhausting. That's true, even regular dancing is exhausting. A dance competition usually sets a time limit for 1:30 or 2 minutes, and that's really enough. On a dance for a show, you give it your all. That's already heavy without a fursuit. It really is more draining with a fursuit. Don't forget there are also real-life risks, such as overheating, heat stroke, or forgetting to breathe properly and faint. I have seen experiences where a fursuiter had to go to the emergency care after a long and heavy dance battle. There are cool-down vests you could wear on your fursuit, but those can be body restricting and are better for afterwards cooling down. So if you know a choreography from top to bottom without a fursuit, also do it in fursuit to check out if you can keep the stamina going around the end of the dance. That's it, everybody! You made it until the end of this Fursuit Dancing 101 panel. I am super proud of you and I feel honored that you were here with me today. I hope my tips are useful for you. I hope my stories inspire you to take your journey to the next level. And I want to thank the Infurnity team. JC for translation and production. Shu for the subtitles and timeline. Malix for the translation. And Michael for the English checking. I can't thank you all enough for the help. And I wish you all a great time at Online Infurnity 2021. And who knows, maybe I will one day see you in real life at a nice convention somewhere around the world. Maybe Infurnity? Who knows? 谢谢大家，拜拜。